What's up, everybody? Welcome to FoundFlix. On this Ending Explained, we're looking at the new I Know What You Did Last Summer, where a group of friends are terrorized by a stalker who knows about a gruesome incident from their past. Yep, that about sums it up. When I heard Sony was doing a legacy sequel to I Know What You Did Last Summer, all I could ask is why? The original trilogy doesn't feel particularly beloved. Then there was the recent series that only lasted one season. My point is, it really seems the audience didn't want this either, as the movie fared poorly with critics and at the box office. So what are we doing here? I'm not going to pretend like it's a masterpiece or anything, but I actually ended up quite enjoying it. It gave me exactly what I expected, for better or worse, and really did feel like a successful throwback to the era of the original. So let's check out I Know What You Did Last Summer, breaking down the story's twists and turns, including the killer's identity, and explaining the ending that sets up a sequel that will never come. The opening, featuring some energetic girl rock over ocean waves, really sets the tone, feeling plucked right out of the late 90s. Ava has moved away from Southport, the setting of the first film, but is lured back in by her friend's engagement. She gets ready for the party, trying out several outfits until she finds the right one, and imagines herself chatting up her ex Milo. Seems there's still some interest there. Her attention is drawn to a photo of her and her mom. "I miss ya," she tells her. Her BFF Danica and Teddy are getting hitched, and the party is at some seriously ritzy digs, a massive estate looking out onto the water. Ava meets up with Danica, and she immediately tells her to hook up with Milo. Same goes for Teddy with the man himself, Teddy pushing that his former flame is looking fine. The gang all hang out and reminisce after the party, and Teddy has an idea: let's go for a ride. They're shocked to run into another former member of the crew, Stevie, who was working the party. There's obviously some bad blood there, learning that Stevie's dad went nuts, blew her college fund, and left, leaving Stevie to attempt to piece together her life. They invite her to come along, and Stevie is dodgy at first. Her co-worker encourages her to join, and really it is the best view of the fireworks. They take a drive on some winding roads, and at least Danica isn't drinking. Teddy screams, causing her to slam on the brakes, but it's just a joke. He doubles down, smirking, and some people say women can't drive. Wow, we got jokes fresh from 1999 too. As the fireworks boom, they pull off for a better view. Teddy sparks a blunt and stands right in the middle of the road, calling it poetry. They warn him a car is coming, and he plays chicken with it for some reason. Not sure what this dude's problem is. Luckily, Milo pushes him to safety in the nick of time. A truck follows soon after, coming out of nowhere. It swerves, crashing into a barrier, leaving the truck dangling over the edge of oblivion. The kids hesitate at first on what to do, but spring into action, trying to keep the truck from going over. But it keeps slipping. The guy grabs at Teddy's shirt just as it gets loose, and plummets down into the surf. Major whoopsie doodles. Already they debate over what to do now. Stevie wants to check on them, but Teddy is calculating what the story will be. Danica freaks, it was just an accident, right? Well, not really. Teddy was standing right in the middle of the road. That's manslaughter, Mr. Lawyer Milo knows. Teddy calls the police and decides it's best for them to leave the scene. He poses it to each of them, and one by one they agree it's all they can do. We see that Teddy and Danica aren't about to jeopardize themselves and drive right past the police station, instead electing to head to his parents' house, where his dad Grant can pull these strings to make this all go away. Once more, they are asked if they are okay with this, and it comes down to Ava. She pleads with him to tell the truth, but with her back against the wall, she relents to keep their secret. The next 4th of July, Ava returns once more to her hometown, and oddly once more for another engagement for Danica. Ava has also made a new acquaintance, making out with some rando lady in the bathroom. Milo is there to pick her up, and when learning where they're headed, asks for a ride. On the drive, Tyler can feel the tension, and she's kinda into it actually. Milo is curious, why is she in town? Learning she hosts a true crime podcast. She's here to do research on an episode about the 97 massacre in town. Tyler is quite familiar with the old incident, offering Ava a murder tour. "I'll keep it in mind," she replies tersely. She meets with Danica at another fancy party, and surprisingly her and Stevie have gotten quite close over the past year. The group gathers, and Danica goes through her gifts. Things take a turn when she picks up an unmarked envelope, and inside is written, "I know what you did last summer." Danica tries to play it off, asking who it's from. What does it say? It doesn't say anything. She snaps it's just a prank or something. Her new fiance Wyatt shows up and plants her a kiss. She shoos him away and gathers the girls in the kitchen. Danica is beside herself and assumes it has to be Teddy. That's why they broke up, because he's emotionally stunted. Sounds about right. How does she know it's him? Well, no one else knows what happened. They wonder if it was someone connected to the victim, but Stevie had looked into him, Sam Cooper, and they couldn't find any family at all. They decide to confront Teddy directly, who hasn't been doing so well post-breakup. He sarcastically greets them. "Wow, my long-lost friends. So nice of you to make a house call." They show show him the note, which he initially believes is a joke. When he realizes it isn't, he dismisses it as Danica's problem. Later at home, she is still jumpy, hearing something outside. She gets another startle from Wyatt, who thinks he knows the problem here. Wedding jitters. He assures her that he's not like Teddy. He's not gonna lose it and bail right before the wedding. To relax, she draws herself a bath, dropping in a bath bomb that certainly resembles blood. She sticks on some noise-canceling headphones, drowning everything out. Wyatt on his own helps himself to some booze. The pool light kicks on, and he steps outside. He shouts, "Hello!" and the lights clunk back off. It is dark as shit out there. Wyatt gets a surprise harpoon to the shoulder, which starts reeling him in. He holds tight onto the door frame, and the hook gores its way out. And of course, Danica has no idea, lost in her bath. Wyatt gets to his feet, staring into the dark. There's loud, clomping footsteps, and the killer, donned in a slicker and hood, emerges with their gun at the ready. They shoot again, getting him this time in the gut. They start tugging him in, Wyatt groaning to "take whatever you want." He croaks to "stop," and the killer holds up his signature fishing hook, hooking him good. Danica emerges later, now relaxed and feeling better after the bath. She hears the wedding march emanating from downstairs. In the living room, she's greeted by a horrific tableau. Wyatt's strung up, and "you can't escape the past" scrawled in blood. Well, there's definitely a new killer on the hunt that is directly copycatting the original from '97. At the police station, Danica is broken up. She didn't hear anything. Teddy shows up with his dad, and they are going to keep a patrol car outside the house. At home, Ava and Danica reminisce about the good old days, feeling that was so long ago. What are you guys, like 23? Ava's glad Stevie has been there for her, and admits that she hasn't. But it's Danica that's sorry. She made her lie about the incident. She understands why she didn't want to talk. They both have been struggling about the role in things and share a big hug. They really did miss each other. They lay down, and Ava promises her everything is gonna be okay. You sure? Nope, but whatever happens, she is going to be here, taking her hand. The group discusses the situation. Someone is definitely after them. They mull over who else it might be now, and no one really fits the bill. They mention that girl Tyler. She does have a whole podcast about murder. Danica puts on an episode of the show all about the killer and his slicker that slayed a group of teens in the 90s. It all started with an anonymous note. Danica gasps that she got one. Yeah, that's the whole point. A little slow there. They dismiss her as the killer, but the killings are certainly inspired by the old ones. Too bad they can't look into what happened. Teddy's dad has scrubbed everything. We see why that is as Tyler tours the town, impressed by its glow up. It's like the spree never happened at all. After the killings, real estate plummeted in town, and Grant saw an opportunity to create a new Southport, turning a haunted fishing town into the Hamptons of the South. She meets up with Ava and takes her to another former site of murder, the Bayside house, now gentrified. Tyler rants that this is the site of one of the killer's most brutal murders, showing off a Helen Shivers t-shirt. "So hot, right?" she asks. "But sucks she's dead." Tyler sets the scene. Julie James comes home from college and bodies start dropping. What did her note say? Tyler leans into her ear, whispering, "I know what you did last summer." Ava shows off her note, and it's even the same handwriting. So did Julie die? Nope, she's one of the 2 survivors and now teaches at a nearby college. She did reach out for an interview, but Julie emailed her back something about boundaries or whatever. Tyler runs off upstairs, and Ava texts the group, worried about how she's behaving. She's then surprised by the fisherman appearing there and assumes that it must be Tyler. Not so much, as she pops up upstairs. The killer tries to hook Ava, and Tyler goes to the front door, finding it locked. Ava gets a knife, able to slash them back. She slams the door, knocking them on their ass. She slides it open, and it appears the coast is clear. Tyler shows up, scaring her again, and a cage drops down, capturing Ava. So Tyler goes for the dumbwaiter, pulling herself up the shaft. The killer arrives, slashing at her legs. Ava starts working at the bolts to get herself free, and Stevie shows up at the front. Tyler kicks the killer away, continuing upwards, the fisherman still on her tail. In an upper storage area littered with mannequins, never know when those could come in handy, the killer appears, stalking towards her. Tyler begs, "You don't have to do this, please, I'm a fan." The killer isn't interested, grabbing her by the throat. She manages to pull off the mask, revealing the killer's identity. "You," she croaks, but we don't see, of course. The others get the door open, and Tyler's body drops down right in front of them. The police are called to the scene, and Grant is already working to cover it up, telling the sheriff to handle the shit. The kids know this too, so the cops won't be of any help. Where to turn to but Julie James? She's been through this before, right? She's now a professor in trauma, I guess. "It's happening again," she screams to the students. That's what the nervous system says when exposed to danger. And people with PTSD don't understand their own behaviors. If you don't deal with trauma, trauma will deal with you. Ava tracks her down and explains that she was attacked by someone in a slicker. Julie isn't amused, scoffing, very funny. Ava clarifies she's not joking, and 2 are dead in the last few days. She begs for her help. She survived this once, and her friends are scared. Julie has just one question for her. What did you do last summer? At Julie's house, there's an old picture of the gang with Ray haphazardly cropped out. Wonder why that is. Julie assumes the killer must be connected to the boy that died. However, they weren't able to find anything much about Sam. There was nothing online, just that he had an apartment in town, and that's it. And of course, the cops are downplaying things to not scare off tourists. Ava begs for her to come back to Southport. It's only 45 minutes away, and there's a town hall today. Julie says she vowed that she would never go back there. They didn't listen then, and they won't listen now. Kind of funny that she's so adamant about getting out of Southport only to move less than an hour away. At least go to another state or something, jeez. Ava's leg is shaking, and Julie steadies it. All she can do is find out who the killer is before they get her. At the town hall, the citizens are in an uproar, and as expected, Grant and the sheriff are trying to bury what's happening. The kids pipe up, and each time he has an excuse. As for Sam, they claim he was a drug addict who stole a car and went off the road. The other survivor from 97, Ray, makes his voice heard. You know this isn't the first time this happened in town. Grant does acknowledge what happened to him in the 90s, but doesn't see how these killings are connected. Ray is incensed. Come on, it's someone in a slicker with a hook. They need to handle this or it's never gonna stop. After at Ray's boat bar, Stevie asks why he didn't tell her what happened before. Well, it's not something he likes talking about. She says that we have something to tell him. Who's we, he asks, and he's introduced to the next generation of pretty morons. They know they need to learn more about Sam. Julie said that that's the key. He spits, they went to see Julie? Sounds like there's some bad blood there too. He admits that they were married, unfortunately. Ray gives them a possible lead. Even if they were covering things up, when the truck came out of the water, it had to go somewhere. Figure out whose car he was driving. Thusly, Milo, Ava, and Stevie visit the car yard, and without any real info, they fib that Sam was Ava's brother. They at least do remember the make and model, as well as the date that it happened. The guy finds one from last year registered to Judah Gillespie, the pastor at the local church. Is that your brother? Ava's all, oh yeah, dear Sam, so sad about my brother. Meanwhile, Teddy and Danica scour the graveyard, finding Helen's from 97. Danica takes a photo from her grave and feels a connection there. She was a croaker queen, just like me. They come to Sam's gravestone and are surprised to see fresh flowers there. Someone must have visited it recently. Not so alone after all, it seems. They flag down a groundskeeper and ask him to check some security cameras for any visitors. He begrudgingly agrees and scrubs through the footage. But before finding anything, he gets gouged from the killer, who then rips out the cable. So much for that. They are still waiting and grow concerned that he is not coming back. Teddy goes to check on him, leaving her on her own in the creepy graveyard. Moments later, the killer straight up appears again. She fends him off with her umbrella and sprints away, taking refuge in a shed. There's a massive croaker queen float in there at the graveyard. Kind of weird. She tries the phone, but runs out of time, hearing stomping boots approaching. She sneaks under the float, and the killer walks right by. She stays still for a moment and begins moving, hearing them stomping on top of the float. The hook plunges down, Danica screaming. They lift her up and toss her aside. She apologizes. She didn't mean to, and is saved by Teddy tackling them away. And they are gone again, Teddy shouting after, yeah, run away like a little bitch. Julie is at home grading some trauma papers. She feels something is off and checks her cameras all over the property. A computer voice alerts her someone is at the front porch. She checks, muttering, fuck, and it's just Ray. She groans she thought it was someone coming to murder her. This is actually much worse. Woo. Ray says that he was worried about her, but she's not buying it. He drops the act. What was she thinking telling Ava to find the killer and kill them first? It's easy to tell her to do that from home while she's sending her on a doomed mission. He still is dealing with the past every day, but projecting their pain onto the kids, that ain't right. They simultaneously get calls, Ava for Julie and Stevie for Ray. The group know the next step is to talk to Judah, but considering Danica nearly died, they put things on hold until tomorrow. Danica and Teddy share a room, as do Ava and Milo. There's a brief moment of tension between them and awkward chuckles before the pair get right down to business. She requests for him to choke me, punish me, and he's taken aback. Ava says, never mind, they don't have to do that. I'm sorry, a little freaky for you. Milo stops for a beat, telling her that he needs a minute. Seeing his phone bat is getting low, he goes to the car, appearing lost in thought. He talks to himself, and so what if she wants to get choked? She asked for it, right? He finds the charger without issue, yet at the doors, they strangely don't open automatically. He meanders over to Ava's window, and the killer gets him from behind with a noose. He futilely attempts to fight back, but they quickly snap his neck. Moments later, Ava opens the window to nothing there. She then hears an engine rev, and it's Milo's car driving away. Thinking she must have upset him, she calls to apologize. Please come back. The killer takes his phone, texting that he needs some space. The next day, Ava and Danica pay a visit to the church to look for clues. They find that girl that was working with Stevie, Hannah, there doing some cleaning. She's sorry for their loved ones, and they fib that's why they're here, they came to grieve. Judah isn't here at the moment, but perhaps she can help. Danica asks for the restroom and sneaks right into his office. Snooping through his stuff, she finds a scrapbook, including Judah with Sam Cooper. He shows up after all, and Danica hides in a booth. This is enough to convince them Judah is somehow involved, and they go right to the police. For some reason, the sheriff immediately informs Grant about their accusation, and thinks that maybe the girls could spend the night here to keep them from meddling further. Elsewhere, Teddy goes to a steam room, and it's so thick in there you can't even make out the other steamy boys. He waves it away, and everyone is gone. There's a message seen in the glass. "You're next," it warns. Stevie can't get a hold of anyone and expresses her concerns to Ray. He says he promised her dad he would take care of her and is sure that nothing will happen. She's gonna make it out of this. No one deserves it more than you. Later, Teddy is chilling at home with an impressive number of empty beers. A nearby gate keeps opening and closing on its own with loud groans. He spots what looks like someone there. It's only more random mannequins strewn around, I guess. He goes to leave and one comes alive, stabbing him in the back. He punches them away but keeps getting viciously slashed. Already weak, Teddy crawls his way up the stairs shouting for help, but it's no use over the blast of the fireworks show. The killer shows up to give him another poke. He's still attempting to crawl off, but the killer drags him back. Grant happens to go outside and sees his boy there bleeding out. He cradles Teddy as he fades away and gets to join him, getting a hook right through the neck. Danica wakes up still at the police station, but alone somehow, and the door is wide open. A voice whispers her name in an echo. She passes through red curtains into a theater, a banner reading, "You can't escape your past," along with someone on stage. There's a body with her, and Danica chants, "It's not my fault, it's not my fault," to herself. A spotlight comes on revealing Helen Shivers in the flesh. Well, kind of. "Of course it's your fault," she sneers. Helen Shivers, Danica realizes, the girl from the picture. Helen gets up in her face and slides the hook down, calling her pretty. She killed Sam Cooper and now her fiance is dead, she accuses. Danica has tears in her eyes, breathing shakily. "No, this isn't real," she tells herself. Helen tells her maybe not, but that body sure is. Wyatt died all by himself. And she's gonna die too! Danica wants to wake up, and Helen urges to actually stay in the dream as long as you can. There's nothing good waiting for you on the other side. Helen starts bleeding. She didn't want to die either, but she did a bad thing. If you do something bad, you have to pay. She turns all corpsey in appearance and slashes at her. Danica then wakes up back at the police station, and something big is going on. A cop pops in, telling her that they can go, and bolts. There's a big to-do outside in the streets, and the pair push their way through the crowd, revealing Teddy and his dad strung up like big old fishes. After that, Ray tells them they gotta get out of here. It's now or never. Down at the docks, they find Milo's car along with his rotting corpse in the back seat. Poor Ava loses it, and they pull her away, her snatching a bracelet. They all pile onto Teddy's boat, and luckily Stevie knows how to drive. Meanwhile, the cops arrive at the church. They bust in, guns at the ready. Judah is seen there unmoving. He's in prayer position, but stabbed through with his eyes poked out. Well, wasn't him then. Oh, and what about that other girl, Hannah or whatever? Just disappeared, I guess. They don't even mention her ever again. The girls continue deeper into the water, and both aren't doing so good at the moment. There's a distant thud and creaking from the cabin. Did the anchor just drop? An officer spots something revealing on the bulletin board. It's a photo of Sam Cooper amongst the flock, and Stevie is there with her arm around him. They must have been friends, and thusly she is the killer. She steps out onto the boat, Dawn in the slicker, ready to take care of business. She goes for Danica, her screaming, "What do you want?" She removes the hood, and it is indeed Stevie. "I want you to die," she explains. Thought that was pretty obvious by now. Stevie fills us in on her history that led her to this point. When her family went broke and her dad left, things got real dark for her. She went to treatment and got clean. She felt this was actually a new beginning, and it's around this time that she met Sam. She was finally ready to move on after her supposed friends tossed her away like garbage. On that night last year, Sam was afraid that she was going to potentially relapse and took Judah's car. She didn't even know that it was him until the body washed up later. Danica's confused. "Why are you telling me this now?" Well, she took the person that meant the most to her away, and now it's her turn. Stevie is annoyed. She could have helped him. And Danica points out, you didn't help either. So what's the plan? Kill us and steal Teddy's boat? Is that gonna make you happy? Yeah, pretty much, Stevie admits. After she found out it was Sam, she went to that dark place again, but then figured, why do that when she can kill all of them instead? Closer to shore, Ray is on the way in his boat, as happened before. We think it's to save the day once again. Danica and Stevie tussle over the hook. Stevie digs in about her two dead fiancés, and Dee kicks her away. Ray hops on board, finding an okay Ava, but she's got Danica up on the bow. Ray attempts to negotiate with Stevie. You got what you wanted, just let her go. Danica headbutts her, and Stevie retaliates with a hook, tossing her overboard. Ray yowls, "Why didn't you come to me? It didn't have to be this way." She spits, "It did. They took everything." And Ray plugs her full of lead before she can finish. Pretty quick there. Ava calls Julie to fill her in. It was Stevie the whole time, but they don't know how she did it all by her lonesome. This gives Julie pause, and she opens up a Google. She finds Ray and her in a photo and puts two and two together, muttering, "Oh my god." Ava and Ray sit in the quiet bar, lamenting about what drove Stevie to it. Julie said trauma changes you, but she didn't know it was like that. Ray grumbles, "Never underestimate what people do to avenge what happened." She's curious, how did he move on? And he says, "You never move on from something like this. It changes you. You have to learn to adapt." He goes to get a clean shirt, and when removing his jacket, she notices a bandage right where she slashed the killer earlier. Ava gets antsy and goes for the door, but it's locked. Ray then drops the facade. "There's just one problem. You know it was me, don't you?" Stevie did say that they should let her live. She was the only one that wanted to do the right thing that night. Too bad, now he doesn't have a choice. She makes a run for it behind the bar, and he gets her by the hair, slamming her into a fridge. He lifts her by the throat, and she whaps him with a bottle. She goes for the window, and he yanks her back inside. He turns a knife on her, and Ava tries to hold him back. She gives him a good old nut kick, always a good choice, both still struggling for the blade. Julie then shows up on the scene, clearly having figured out what's going on. Ava hobbles in, stammering that she has a knife in her back. Julie coos that she's gonna be okay, and the police are on their way. Ray emerges, wishing her a happy 4th. He stalks towards her, wielding the hook. How'd she figure it out? She read about Stevie and how her life got all messed up. She wanted revenge, and he knew just how to help her get that. He sneers, "Nothing holds people accountable like a good old murder spree." He used what happened to them in '97 as a playbook for this one. He whines that they try to erase what this town was, erase us, and pretend it never happened. He had to make people remember. So here we are. Isn't that nostalgic? Julie retorts that nostalgia is overrated. She pleads with them to just let it go. Who cares what they did? Ray changes his plan to pin the killings on Julie. He thought her being around was trouble, but in fact, she's the perfect fall girl. Crazy Julie couldn't move on and recreates her past with her in control this time. She steps closer, growling, "In that case, what are you waiting for?" She shouts it again, and Ray goes at her. He's abruptly stopped in place, seeing Ava got him with a harpoon right through the chest. "Gotcha," she whispers. Ava groans, "Fuck the 4th of July," and Julie concurs. In the aftermath, it looks like things will be changing in Southport once again, with word of a new marina coming soon. On sale now! Teddy's house is marked off as a crime scene, and without Grant around, it's definitely gonna be different. Down at the shore, unbelievably, Danica washes up on the beach. She hacks out some water, and a lady finds her, getting her to the hospital. Ava and Danica are glad they made it out alive, but still bruised and battered. There's a note from Julie letting her know that she's always got her back. They realize they're both starving and chow down on some grub down at the beach, feeling slightly normal for a change. They both call each other's soulmates, and it seems that things are over. Until it's revealed that somehow Stevie is still alive and currently at large. What? Do you have a bulletproof vest, or she's got some serious swimming skills too. Danica is shocked. Should they kill her? Well, it's perhaps a bit extreme, but yeah, probably. We're then at an unfamiliar house with the news discussing the string of killings. They reveal that it was Stevie and Ray working together. "Holy shit," Carla remarks. "She's back." Then Julia is mentioned as being attacked and that she survived the spree 25 years ago. "People are always trying to kill that woman," Carla says, in hopes that she's at least in therapy. There's a knock at the door, and it's none other than Julie in her best undercover outfit. Carla is surprised to see her. She just saw the news. Girl can't catch a break. And Ray? Yeah, it's been a weird month. And Carla gives her a big hug. There's a truly troubling motivation for the reunion. Julie hands over a new note and photo with Carla's face X'd out. Written is a warning. It isn't over. Guess Stevie is still not ready to let go of the past. Carla is ready to take care of business. Who are we fucking up this time? Julie smiles. I hoped you were gonna say that. This whole scene is obviously designed to set up further adventures with the pair, along with their next gen counterparts in Ava and Danica, although chances are it will never come to fruition after how poorly the movie performed. And for now, this will be the end of the franchise, until Sony tries to unsuccessfully revive it again. That'll do it for this Ending Explained for I Know What You Did Last Summer. And if you have any requests for movies you'd like to see me cover, let me know on my socials or down in the comments below. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow. Thanks for watching FoundFlix. See you next time.